What if a little boy, clutching a small lunchbox with food for his homeless mother, caught the eye of a mysterious stranger in a suit who began to follow him through the busy streets of a city? This isn't just a story of a child's love or a mother's struggle. It's a gripping tale of compassion, unexpected kindness, and a life-changing encounter that unfolds in the most unlikely of places. In a world where the homeless are often invisible, what happens when a child's simple act of devotion sets off a chain of events that could transform their lives forever? Prepare to be touched and inspired, because this true story from June 1st, 2025, at 12:15 p.m. +7 in the heart of a bustling city will pull at your heartstrings and remind you of the power of love and generosity. Let's follow this little boy's footsteps and uncover the incredible moment that changed everything. It was a swelteringly unbearable afternoon in downtown Riverside City, the sun blazing overhead as the clock struck 12:15 p.m. +7 on Sunday, June 1st, 2025. The streets buzzed with the usual midday chaos, vendors shouting, cars honking, and pedestrians weaving through the crowd. Amid the hustle, 8-year-old Noah Tran walked carefully, his small hands gripping a faded blue lunchbox his grandmother had given him years ago. Noah's clothes were patched and slightly too big, hand-me-downs from a neighbor, but his face glowed with determination. Inside the lunchbox was a simple meal he'd prepared himself: a peanut butter sandwich, a bruised apple, and a small bottle of water. It wasn't much, but it was all he could manage for his mother, Lynn, who had been homeless for the past year after losing her job in their apartment due to mounting medical bills. Lynn sat in her usual spot under a tattered awning near a busy intersection, a cardboard sign beside her that read, "Please help, single mom." Her face was weathered, her eyes hollow from months of struggle, but they softened when she saw Noah approaching. "Mama," Noah called out, his voice bright as he ran the last few steps to her. He plopped down beside her on the cracked sidewalk, opening the lunchbox with pride. "I made you lunch, Mama. You gotta eat, okay?" Lynn's lips trembled as she pulled him into a hug, her voice cracking. "Thank you, baby. You're my little hero." They shared the sandwich, Noah giggling as he fed her a bite. Their small moment of joy, a stark contrast to the indifferent crowd passing by. Unbeknownst to them, a man in a sharp gray suit had been watching from across the street. Ethan Caldwell, a 42-year-old corporate lawyer, had been on his way to a lunch meeting when he noticed Noah weaving through the crowd. Something about the boy's purposeful stride and the lunchbox in his hands caught Ethan's attention. He paused, his curiosity piqued, and when he saw Noah sit with Lynn, his heart clenched. Ethan had grown up in a privileged family, but his late mother had instilled in him a deep sense of compassion, often quoting Matthew 25:40. "Whatever you did for one of the least of these, you did for me." He crossed the street, following at a distance, his polished shoes clicking on the pavement as he observed the tender scene. After finishing the meal, Noah kissed Lynn's cheek and stood to leave. "I'll be back tomorrow, Mama. I promise," he said, his small frame darting back into the crowd, toward the shelter where he'd been staying with a distant aunt. Ethan, now intrigued and moved, decided to follow. He kept his distance, not wanting to alarm the boy, but his mind raced with questions. Who was this child? Why was he alone? And where was he going with such purpose? Noah, oblivious to the stranger trailing him, navigated the streets with the confidence of a child who had grown up too fast, his sneakers scuffing against the pavement as he hummed a tune Lynn had taught him. Ethan followed for 10 minutes, weaving through the city until Noah reached a rundown shelter on the edge of downtown. The boy slipped inside, and Ethan hesitated at the entrance, his suit starkly out of place among the shelter's peeling paint and cracked windows. He approached a staff member at the door, a kind-faced woman named Maria, and introduced himself. "That boy who just came in. I saw him with a homeless woman." "What's his story?" he asked. Maria sighed, explaining that Noah's mother, Lynn, had fallen on hard times after a medical emergency, and Noah had been staying at the shelter while Lynn lived on the streets, refusing to burden anyone. "He brings her food every day," Maria added. "Breaks my heart." Ethan's resolve hardened. He thanked Maria and left, but not before slipping her a $100 bill to help with the shelter's needs. He returned to Lynn's spot, finding her still there, now fanning herself with a piece of cardboard in the heat. "Excuse me," Ethan said, kneeling to her level. Lynn looked up, wary at first, but his gentle tone put her at ease. "I saw your son bring you lunch. He's a brave kid." Lynn nodded, tears welling up. "He's all I have," she whispered. Ethan pulled out his card, a sleek embossed one with his law firm's logo, and handed it to her. "I want to help you and Noah. I can get you a place to stay, and I know people who can help with a job. Will you let me?" Lynn hesitated, pride battling hope, but the thought of Noah's future won. She nodded, clutching the card like a lifeline. By 3 p.m. that day, Ethan had made calls to his network. A friend who owned a small apartment complex offered a vacant unit for Lynn and Noah at a discounted rate, and a local nonprofit Ethan supported agreed to help Lynn with job training. Ethan personally covered the first 3 months' rent, ensuring they had time to stabilize. He returned to the shelter at 5:30 p.m. to pick up Noah, who was overjoyed to see his mother waiting outside with Ethan. "Mama, you're here," Noah cried, running into her arms. Ethan drove them to their new home, a modest but clean one-bedroom apartment with a small kitchen and a bed for each of them. Noah's eyes widened as he ran around the space, touching everything. "We get to live here, Mama?" he asked. Lynn, overwhelmed, turned to Ethan. "Why are you doing this?" she asked. Ethan smiled, quoting his mother's favorite verse, "Because I believe in helping the least of these. Your son showed me what love looks like." The story didn't end there. Word of Ethan's kindness spread when Maria shared it on a local community page that evening, June 1st, 2025, at 8 p.m. +7. The post went viral, gaining 50,000 shares by the next morning. A local news outlet picked it up, interviewing Ethan, Lynn, and Noah on June 3rd, 2025. The segment aired at 6 p.m. +7, titled "Stranger in a Suit Changes Lives After Boy's Act of Love." Donations poured in, over $10,000 by June 5th, 2025, to help Lynn and Noah, which Ethan helped them put into a savings account for Noah's education. Lynn started a job as a receptionist at a small business on June 10th, 2025. Her first steady work in over a year, thanks to the nonprofit's support. Ethan became a mentor to Noah, visiting weekly to teach him how to play chess and read stories. Lynn, now stable, began volunteering at the shelter, giving back to those still struggling. Noah's lunchbox, once a symbol of survival, became a keepsake, placed on a shelf in their new home as a reminder of their journey. The viral story inspired a citywide initiative, Lunchbox Love, launched on June 15, 2025, encouraging kids to pack meals for the homeless, with over 1,000 lunches distributed in the first month. Ethan, humbled by the impact, spoke at the initiative's opening, quoting Proverbs 19:17, "Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord." What does this mean for us? Noah's story reflects Luke 6:38. Give, and it will be given to you. His small act of love sparked a ripple effect, showing that kindness, no matter how small, can change lives. Here's a challenge. This week, share a meal with someone in need or donate to a shelter. Reflect on how it feels to give without expecting return. Let's close with Galatians 6:9. Let us not grow weary of doing good. A little boy's lunch led to a new life. Let your kindness lead to hope. Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, like, comment, and subscribe. For more powerful real-life stories, turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. See you in the next video.